This is episode 16 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about being out in the open because hypocrisy will always catch up to you. Y'all know we cuss, so don't get upset. It's just for emphasis.
Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, Lori. Wait, before we get started, if you have not already, like, share, subscribe, do something with this episode, but do not keep it for yourself. And if you want other people to find us, leave us a review. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, Sylvia.
Hi, Lori.
How goes it, young lady?
It's been a day.
Hmm.
You saw the pictures,
I did.
but it's a lesson of
Hmm.
listen to yourself. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's
So that's where you are with it?
yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay, cool. Okay. You gonna expound? Share
Um,
what's going on?
my tomatoes. Okay, if you have been following along with me on social media, especially on TikTok, and okay, wait, if we want to talk about what's been better, I got to 10,000 followers on what's on TikTok.
Yay! Okay.
Check
All
that off my
right.
bingo board
Ooh,
because I got to
ooh.
10K. So that was awesome. That was a good feeling. Yay.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
Now, if
Congratulations.
we could just do that on what's been better. Come on, y'all.
That would be
Come on,
nice.
y'all.
That would be nice.
But if you've been following along on Black Girl with Tools, you know that I poured club soda into my plants' water bottles, and my plants just went like that. Well,
What you mean they grew?
oh, they grew like a
Your
lot.
plants? Which
Yes.
ones?
I did all the tomatoes, all the peppers, and then I wound up doing every single plant.
Like regular plants?
So that's why when you came over, everything was just, like, super big, super green.
So I need to put them in my houseplants too?
I've heard that you can 50%, half 50/50, half, club soda, half water.
Okay. And what does the club soda do?
It gives minerals, oxygen, and it has a little bit of something else I can't remember, oh my gosh. But there's a whole saga that I have posted.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, so my tomatoes got so big and so heavy that yesterday when it was storming, they tipped over.
Mm.
So today when I went outside, I was very sad to see that there were tomatoes on the ground, that the limbs were just like, "Oh, we're not gonna make it."
Aw.
So I had to get out there and try to prop them up, and I said, like, last week or the week before, I said, "I should get another tomato cage hooked up to these because these are getting way bigger than I've."
Mm. And so that was your gut telling you. That was a warning.
Right.
And so sometimes we heed it, sometimes we don't, and then we experience the outcome of it, right?
Yeah.
So now you
Whispers,
learn.
pebbles,
And
brick
then
to
her
the forehead.
yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I went out there, I was just like, "Oh, no." And of course, that was like 20, 30 minutes before we were supposed to record today, so I was just like, "Take your time. I
Mhm.
have to go to Home Depot." So I
Did
went to
you?
the
Did you run?
store.
You
Yeah,
ran to
I
Home
went to the
Depot?
store, got some more tomato
How
cages.
the hell you do that so fast?
It's not far from my house.
Okay.
Yeah, and I knew what I needed, so I
Okay.
just went straight to the front. There was nobody in line.
Okay.
Zoomed in, zoomed out, and then, that's why I came in here late too, because I was, like, trying to
Yeah. Did you fix it though? Were you able to get it propped up?
They are propped up now.
Mhm.
I lost a few more tomatoes. They look very, like, stuffed now, so
Well,
Drew
can
and
you
I were talking about just starting
uh-huh.
over.
Well, so you said you lost them because 'cause they're I know you mentioned that they were green. Can you, like,
Yeah.
lay them on the countertop and they just kind of continue?
The ones that fell weren't very big, but I don't know how far along because this is a variety I've never grown before.
I
So that's
see.
another thing of, like, I'm really sad because I was hoping that these would be really, really good, and I have so
Mhm.
many goals of that have to do with 10s, so I
Mhm.
had the 10K of, like, I wanna get to 10,000 followers, but I also wanted to do 10 jars of salsa and 10 jars of pizza sauce
Right.
because we eat that much.
Right.
So yeah, I don't
I see.
know what's gonna happen with the rest of the summer, but If I start over, I start over.
I get it. I get it. Tell me real quick about I'm gonna jump back to the club soda.
Mhm.
Does it have to be refrigerator or can it be room temperature or
I have them out on the counter, and,
okay.
I mean, I never really put too many things in the refrigerator anyway, except for the milk. When I put the milk on the tomatoes, I'm usually taking it out of the refrigerator.
Okay.
So,
I'm not even gonna go there because then there'll
s
be a whole
calcium and
story.
vitamin D. Calcium and
Okay.
vitamin D. Um
So cow's milk on tomatoes.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes. I know. It all sounds great. And banana water for watermelons.
What? What the hell does that do?
Potassium.
Ah. Well, you know what? It's a whole ecosystem.
The whole thing.
Sounds like a circle of life kind of thing.
It
That's what that
is.
sounds like.
It
Okay.
is. And it helps
Honey.
of, like, not having a lot of waste either.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
even, like, I'm on this whole, like, big green juice thing right now, like, finally drinking celery juice, even though I know everybody's like, "You should have been drinking that." Okay, I didn't like it. It was disgusting. I hated it.
Mhm. So you drink
Well,
it now.
I drink it now because somebody said put pineapple in it.
Okay, and that does what?
Oh, it makes it sweeter, and it makes it
Whoa. But what
much
is
more it makes it much more palatable for me, but I know
I get it.
pineapple is good for inflammation.
I
So,
definitely need that because I feel
yeah, because my
inflamed.
knees are killing me. So,
Well, what
uh,
about the celery though? What does the celery drink, the juice do?
I don't remember what celery does. I really don't. This is another one of those, like, my mom has been doing forever and always telling me, and I've always been like, "That is disgusting."
So now
So,
this is where our listeners come in. If you know, help your girl out because
yes.
because Sylvia might figure it out tomorrow. I don't know, and I really want to be encouraged to drink some celery water because
Yeah.
I will, I'll do it. Especially, I'll drink celery water without the pineapples if I know
Oh, okay.
the benefits of it.
Okay, so
Right.
it's a whole green juice thing. So it's celery, kale. I do lime instead of lemon because I don't like
Mhm.
lemons, and
They taste
ginger.
the same. What
No,
the
they
hell?
do not. Oh
Oh,
my
okay.
god. Oh my god.
They got a little similarity.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right.
And ginger, but it's supposedly really good for you, like hydrating and
Mhm.
good for inflammation and blood pressure and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I definitely want to get rid of all the inflammation in my tummy.
yes.
Come out. Okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, I've been on that, and so I was saying in terms of, like, waste, instead
Mhm.
of throwing out all the pulp,
Mhm.
I dried all the pulp and ground it down into green powder to put in
Mm.
to, like, smoothies and other
Mhm.
foods, like
Okay.
soup and stuff like that. So, there was
Right.
no waste. It was 0
Okay.
waste.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
I'm telling you. Sylvia is the girl for all of the things,
I'm
especially
I'm learning.
gardening. Yeah, but I'm telling you, she's the one to ask and you're in the know. So I love it. Thank you
I
for that information.
I don't know that I'm the girl, but I am one to learn and
Mhm.
share. I am one to
She
learn and share. So,
Mhm.
I'm not the end all be all. I don't know all the answers. Trust me, I am quick to say I learned this from whoever and whoever. And I always tag people and I always tell people, like, go ask them or
Okay.
go try yourself and let me
All
know
right.
because I'm like you. I don't want to give out a whole bunch of advice.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just telling you what I do.
Right. I love that. And no, Sylvia is not arrogant, Miss Know It All.
No.
I'm not talking about it from that angle. I'm saying she is still the girl to know because she's somebody who studies, she researches, and she does the things. She works by doing. I love it. And she's
Yeah.
always out there, you know, giving you good tidbits of knowledge.
Yes. I'm always
So,
and I do share my trials and tribulations also because I quickly before I touched my tomatoes, turned the camera on and was like, "Here's a fail. This really
mm,
happens." Because I don't want people to believe that, like, my garden is perfect and
mhm,
everything is wonderful, and I just walk in the bubbles all day, and, like, I don't want anybody to think that, like, that's my life. Like,
mhm,
it's real. Shit goes down bad. Like, all
mhm,
of my garlic, I don't think I'm gonna have any garlic this year.
mm.
It just hasn't turned out.
Well, sometimes things happen. I
Yeah.
don't call them fails. So that's the difference between me and Sylvia. I don't call it a fail. I call it learning. Like this happened.
Mhm.
I didn't
Yep.
like how it turned out. Sometimes we're going to have things that don't turn out in our favor or as
Yes.
we intended to. So,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I'll
yeah.
put both. I literally I think I put garden fail and then I put lesson learned, like,
Okay, cool.
so it's
Cool.
both for me of, like, I know what I was supposed to do.
Mhm.
Now, certain things I'm like, "Oh, I did it a little bit different this year, so I wasn't sure that it was gonna turn out." So, like, the garlic,
Mhm.
I that was a hit or miss, and
Mhm.
it turned out to be a miss, and that's okay.
You going
Like,
to try it again next year?
of
That's what I'm talking about. So
course.
then these things are never a fail, especially if you're gonna get back up and try it again. If you're
Yeah.
gonna keep on keeping on, you know?
Nothing's gonna stop me from growing food. It's just not gonna happen. Like,
Right.
it's so freeing, and
Mhm.
it's a good feeling to go grocery shopping in your backyard,
Yes.
and it is obviously saving money. I'll
Yeah.
cut a corner anytime I can when in terms of, like, I'm not buying that. I could just grow it.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
but yeah, so, I mean, I had plenty of other wins this week, but that one was just like, oh, that was
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
And I tell you, I'm so thankful to know Sylvia because hopefully we can barter. Like I can switch out my knowledge for her knowledge and,
Yes,
her food for, some sessions or something. I don't know. We're gonna
something.
just work some stuff out.
We'll figure it out. A couple games of spades, I don't know,
Something.
anything,
I love it.
anything. Anyway, I said all that, but what's been better, Lori?
Well, Sylvia, I went to visit her and she has all these little gadgets and I just love them. And so we're out there looking at her beautiful plants and her beautiful garden. And she had these bubbles that were just bubbling up all over the place. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, what is going on here? And she said it confuses the mosquitoes. And so she caught me right when she said that because I sit outside a lot and I come inside when it's like dusk because
Mhm.
soon as my lights come on, my string lights, they attract mosquitoes
Yes.
and they are most annoying, and I don't like getting bitten up, and when she told me that, I bought me a bubble machine.
Yay!
She she sent the link, and I just went today to Five Below. I went out of my
Oh.
way and got the bubbles, and it's so funny because sometimes I ask questions before paying to looking around because I only had a few minutes. So I
Mhm.
walked in there and I asked the guy, I said, "Where are the bubbles? Like the big he was like, he pointed, I turned around, it was right there, big ass display of bubbles, and I was so excited. So I'm going to probably try it out tomorrow.
Yay,
Yeah.
yay.
So that's been better. Like I am actually going to be able to hang out in my backyard. I'm probably going to get about 3 or 4 of those bad boys
Oh,
so I
yeah.
can just have bubbles for days.
Yes, because
And
your yard is huge,
right.
so, yeah.
So what would you recommend though? Should I have it on my table and let it come straight out at the table level or should I have it on the ground and let the bubbles rise up?
I would put it kind of, like, near you, but I
Mhm.
think shout out to my mother-in-law because this was all her idea.
Okay.
She's the one that turned me onto the bubbles and the bubble machines, and she said it's kind of, like, soothing, like,
Mhm.
the sound of the machine is like white noise,
Mhm.
but, I think she puts hers on her table.
Mhm.
She's got, like, a lower table, kind of like a coffee table on her front
Mhm.
porch,
Mhm.
so I think you could put it there. I usually just kind of tote mine around with me, kind of whichever section of the garden I'm in,
Mhm.
but, yeah, up there at the pizza oven, I have it just on the top of the
Does it
table.
really
So
work though?
oh,
Like
absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. Between that and those not echinacea, citronella sticks,
Okay. Imma order those 2. I think I
uh,
ordered
the
them.
place from the dollar 25. Get them from
Okay.
there.
I already ordered them from Amazon.
Oh,
They
okay,
just hadn't
okay.
come in yet. I'm so glad you said something because I forgot that I ordered
Those
them. But tell our viewers what the name of the bubble machine is. Is it called Bubble Machine?
it's literally called a bubble machine.
And you can get it off of Amazon.
Yep, if you follow me, it is in my Amazon storefront. Like, the link is, like, probably the first thing in my garden faves. Um, Yeah, it is. It's probably the first thing in my garden faves. But go Black Girl with Tools anywhere. You'll see my link tree and find my Amazon storefront. And yeah, bubble machine all summer. That's what we're
Right.
doing. We are not getting bit by mosquitoes. That's what we're
Not
not
n
doing.
oh my god. But you also said get some soap. Um,
Yes. Okay.
what's
Okay.
the name of it?
Irish Spring soap.
Okay,
Y'all,
so
now this hack 100% came from TikTok and I totally agree with it. Irish Spring soap, if you break it into chunks or shred it up, like cheese grate it up,
mhm,
spread it around the area that you're gonna be in, it keeps away so many things. Now, you gotta reapply it once it starts raining because
mhm,
it is soap.
mhm,
But it's not gonna be, like, sudsy bubbles everywhere like that. It's
mhm.
just gonna, like, dissipate into wherever. So all along
Yeah,
my garden, on the ground, hanging in those little organza bags, off of things, I have Irish Spring soap because it keeps away flies, it keeps away little pests, I
mhm.
have a squirrel issue, things like that.
Okay.
So
Well, maybe it keeps away flies and stuff. It didn't work for me with the mosquitoes. And I
Oh,
bought a whole bunch of Irish Spring,
no.
shredded that
Mhm.
shit up. I even boiled it to kinda get it
Oh,
to
I've
smell.
never heard anybody do
Right,
that.
I boiled it down and I sprayed it in a spray bottle. I
Uh-huh.
sprayed it all over my arms and legs and sprayed it all over my
Okay,
carpet
I
and
have never heard that.
yeah,
Mint mint works like that,
okay, Imma have to try
and
the mint, but
lemon balm.
okay, Imma have to get some lemon balm, but so try y'all let us know, like,
Yes.
let us know. The Irish Spring didn't work for me, but if it works, it works. So I still have it hanging. I have
It'll
it in a little mesh.
definitely if you're trying to eat outside, it's not gonna you won't have any flies coming
Okay,
around.
cool, cool.
So,
I didn't see any
definitely for
flies,
that.
so okay,
Good.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I have it more so for the flies more than anything because the flies were terrible the 2nd year I had a garden. I mean, I was like, "I'm gonna be carried away by flies." It was so many flies. And then I did that, and they were gone.
Oh, good. I
And
love
then
it.
the squirrels too, like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
So
Mm-mm.
I love these different hacks. I love us sharing and passing on different information because it helps us. And
Mhm.
actually, we don't have to spend a whole lot of money doing things because I promise you, I was about to hire the mosquito man.
No. Mm-mm. There's other stuff for that. Mm-mm. There's
Okay.
plants. I mean, I replanted a whole garden container garden around the pizza oven just for flies and mosquitoes to keep them away,
Mm,
and it's all food. Basil, chives, lavender, and marigolds.
okay. There we go. I'm about to do some planning. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause something has to give. I'm so over this shit. Like, let me
Mhm.
just let you know, mosquitoes are not my friend. I think they're vampires. They are they are the they are the worst. I think they're worse than maggots and roaches. I think they're
I
worse.
nothing is worse than roaches. Nothing. I hate roaches, especially being in Georgia and going to school in Alabama and seeing flying roaches.
Yeah, them big
Everybody
ass
is
bugs.
tough until a damn roach flies. Everybody. Everybody is tough. I mean, like, nothing worse. Ooh, no, mm-mm. I think I'd rather be bit by a mosquito than, like, that thing fly at my face. I can't do it. I can't.
Well, not in my face though. But I feel you. I feel you. I just don't like getting bit. Oh my god.
Whew.
But enough of all of those things. Like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
We can go on for days. We love to talk. So of
Yes.
course, yes, we do.
But
What are we talking
okay.
about today, though, Sylvia?
I wanna talk about things like coming to light and
Mhm.
judgment and hypocrisy and because it's so many court cases, so
Mhm.
many documentaries, so many random things have come out in the last, like, couple of weeks that
Okay.
it's just been on my mind, and then here you go, going to jury duty today, and I was like, "Oh, this is all the same. It's all the same." So,
Yeah.
tell everybody what
Oh.
happened when you
Oh
went
my
to jury duty today,
girl.
all day
All of the
today.
day. All of the effing day. Let's
All
just say that.
y'all, if you coulda seen the text messages.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get a letter. By the way, this is year 16. I spent my 16th year in my home. this is the first time I've gotten any information about doing any kind of jury duty.
Oh,
And
man, you're lucky.
right. So I got jury duty. I think it was a whole week that I had to, no, maybe 2 or 3 days. But they sent me home. It wasn't anything spectacular back in '06, '07. So, and that was way in another city. But I've been here for 16 effing years and nothing
Mhm.
until now. So I go and I'm thinking, surely my uncle being a former police officer, that's going to do it. Nope. You so the criteria now is you have to be 70 to say if
Yes.
you wanna do it or not. You have to have, like, a six-year-old, not 7, 8, like, cause what's the difference between how you pick 6? Like, really? A six-year-old, if you have a 6 or younger, then you get to be, excused, right? And I'm like, "But what happens to the 7 to 10-year-olds or the f
Right.
like, what's gonna happen to them? They're gonna
They
be,
gotta
like,
fend for
stinky?"
themselves.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I think something else, but it
Medical.
right, right. But that's it. Like, and so even if you're, self-employed, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn that you're self-employed and you miss a whole week's worth of work. That's a whole
Right.
salary,
Yeah.
and that you can't get back because if you work on a job, yes, they can reimburse you. But if you work for yourself, how do you recoup that?
Right.
You just SOL. And so anyway, I'm thinking, I get there 8:15. It's a long behind line. It's over 200 something people in this big behind room, and they let us go for lunch. I was like, damn, I'm here still for lunch. Come back at 1. Come back at 1, and the girl comes up and she said, I'm about to call some names. I'm the second name they called. I said, mother effer. I'm woo! I'm hot because I'm thinking, are they gonna let me go? No. We gotta stand in line, single file line like we in elementary school and stuff. We get into the courtroom, and this dude is in court on trial because he was speeding and he got arrested for DUI. Now, I understand that you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
But are you gonna waste our time when you've been drinking and you speeding? Like, you
Mhm.
double guilty, dude. Like,
Yeah.
really? Why are you gonna waste my time and I'm not getting reimbursed for this shit? I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say it. You know, I'm Sylvia, I'm mad, at this point.
I
I'm
could
really
believe it.
annoyed. And then the sheriff now, I'm because for me, I like to follow directions, right?
Mhm.
So I'm looking at all the do's and the don'ts of coming in there, right? So I'm in the
Right.
courtroom. I have my little hat on because that's how I do. And
Mhm.
this sheriff lady who has a fake ponytail, and I'm not even tripping about people who wear fake hair, okay? That's how you live, that's how you live. But you're gonna tell me to take off my hat. She
Oh,
told me to
'cause it
take
is
off.
security. Yeah.
Well, I already went through security.
Yes, but there's yeah.
Well, be nice.
Yeah.
At least you can be nice about it. You take off your hat. And
Oh, no.
I thought she was talking to somebody behind me. So I'm like,
She
all
can't be
right.
talking to me like that.
You know? And then they're pointing at me. I'm looking at her like, I gotta take off my hat. Like the most humiliating thing because my hair look a mess. My hair
Mm.
looking like bozo and shit. Like I'm taking my hat off in front of all these people. Lady, I was so done with her because and then it's how she talked to me. So I was like, Lori,
Mhm.
you really gonna have to let this go. And you also can't, I mean, not can't, but just don't take this personally. But I
Yeah.
was annoyed because I just didn't appreciate, people using their authority. They throw their authority around.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, girl, outside, I'm gonna get you.
Take that uniform
Nook.
off and see what's happening.
Right. I'm like, Nook, if you buck, Nook,
Right.
I'm through. Right. Cause I'm like,
Right.
what's up? But I'm eyeing her kind of the whole time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the whole point is this guy is on trial for something that he knows he did, right?
Mm.
And so you have all these taxpayers in here, and I understand if somebody planted some drugs on him. Okay,
Right.
that could be a thing. He wasn't speeding, or if he didn't get the DUI, you get what I'm saying, or something like, or something similar to that.
Mhm.
But you're really guilty. So anyway, I had um I had reason to say to myself, and when they started asking questions, you know, do you feel one way or the other on it? Like, do you feel
Mhm.
biased? And basically, I said, this is a slam dunk.
You said you said all this in voir dire? Like, the process of, that you're talking about, if the lawyers or the judge asks you a question is called voir dire.
Oh, okay.
So,
Because I know what the hell you just said. I was like, what
yeah,
is that?
that's what it's called. It's like they question if you could be on the jury pool or
Hmm.
if you're gonna be a witness, sometimes they will
Hmm.
question a witness, so that process is called this is how much court I watch. I know
Yeah,
the
well, God bless
terminology.
you, girl. Well, they did that, and they
Okay.
told us we can be as frank as we wanted to be, and I'm glad
Mhm.
they did because I wanted them to know you're wasting my time, and no, I
Um,
don't want to be a part of this case because it's
this
foolishness to
$25
me.
ain't gonna get it.
No, you're gonna give me 25, and they give it to you on a gift card that charges you 3.95 if you don't use, if you authorize it.
Oh,
And I'm like, y'all really are a piece of work.
Fulton County's still giving out checks, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I still got a check these last I've been on jury duty 2 times in the last year already.
Wow. Well, I guarantee you I'm gonna use that $25 as soon as I can because you're not gonna $3.95
Mm-mm.
me until it's over.
Buy some more bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can
Yeah.
woosah with the bubbles.
Yeah.
But
$3.95 every
it's
time, every month. Yeah,
it's
come on.
wild to push a court case that far for something that is I don't always think that all these things should be court cases. This should be
Mm-hmm.
something that's like, yes, there's mediation, yes, there's a
Mm-hmm.
process. Yes, we have rules, laws, things so that way people don't get harmed.
Mm-hmm.
But also too, what are you doing that you thought that this would be okay?
Right.
And I know that selfish gets thrown around both ways as a negative way of like, I just do whatever the fuck I want. And selfish gets thrown around of like, I'm gonna take care of myself first.
Mm-hmm.
To get in a car after you've been in a situation that may or may not involve you drinking, don't put yourself in these situations. Because you're not only wasting all these people's time, you're wasting your own time.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, right. And so while we say that, everybody has the option to do whatever the heck they want to do, but
Mhm.
just understand there are consequences to this thing, right?
Mhm.
You have consequences to everything you do, good
Mhm.
and bad. Like we do good thing, good consequences come. It's basically what people call karma, or what the cause of law and cause and effect.
Mhm.
Right, and so or I think it's a reciprocal kind of thing. I can't think of it right now, but it's basically reciprocal. Whatever you put out, you're gonna come back,
Yeah.
and so yeah. So if you're going out here, yeah, I hope you won't drink and drive. I even was vulnerable and said one time I was drinking and I was driving, and guess what? If they caught me, I've been like, you got me.
Yeah, cause
I'm not going to waste all of the time and do a jury trial
yeah,
just to still maybe be proven guilty even after all of that.
and knowing too, like, how the judicial system works is not in your favor anyway to go through
Mhm.
all this process, but yeah, I don't and then you see which is a perfect segue to all the court cases that I've been watching lately.
Mhm.
I I watched the Duggars,
Mhm.
Shiny Happy People,
Okay.
to which y'all had to explain to Lori who the Duggars were. If you don't know, they're a family that had 19 children in
Mhm.
Northwest Arkansas,
Mhm.
and the father, took the side of his son who had previously mis who had previously inappropriately touched his sisters and their babysitter while they were sleeping,
He
and
touched
it's
the babysitter too?
yes.
Child.
And instead of holding this child accountable, and I'm not gonna say child, he
Mm,
wasn't, like, 12, he was, like, 16. Um, I think maybe he was 14. He was
mhm,
younger, but he wasn't,
mhm.
like he wasn't a seven-year-old, you
Right.
know? He was old enough to know, like, "I'm doing these things and this isn't appropriate."
Mhm, mhm.
But instead of getting this child some help,
Right.
instead of pressing charges against this
Mhm,
child,
mhm.
they allowed him to keep doing everything that he was doing, and then there he goes, getting caught in the Ashley Madison scandal where he was paying prostitutes and
Oh,
assaulting
wow.
them, and then eventually found with child images on his computer,
Mm, mm, mm.
and finally arrested, and finally went to court, and was actually held accountable for once. I think he got more than 10 years in prison, which I feel like it's not
That's
enough.
it?
Yeah,
That's
not
it.
enough. Um,
Child.
all the things that he did.
Ooh-wee.
But I watched that documentary, it's called Shiny Happy People, and it was very interesting to see, one of the sisters was on there. So to see her speaking out was interesting
Mhm,
because I saw how complicit, TLC, Discovery, and all these other big media companies were of, like, not holding people accountable and propping these people up.
let me ask you this real quick.
Mhm,
I know you had mentioned that the father perjured himself and he lied and tried to take up for his son. Did the
mhm.
mother try to take up for her son too?
The mother I don't remember the mother getting on the stand, but the mother still is, like, standing by her husband and standing by their son, but sometimes on, like, their YouTube channels or in their social media, the mom is with the daughters. So I
Mhm,
don't know now that the documentary is out, I don't quite know how that's gonna play out. The family did put out a statement that
mhm,
they, oh, the victims of all these heinous crimes and stuff, but also that they love their children.
mm.
So yeah, it was very disturbing. I swear to you, I could, like, write a whole PhD dissertation on, like, how American media props up evangelicals that are terrible,
Mm.
because that whole situation was bad.
So Sylvia, were there more than just 2? Because the lady had 19 children, which I also think is
Yeah.
like, I feel like a little bit of my judgment is coming out. But I will say judgment comes from, to me, when somebody does something that's different from what you would do,
Yeah.
right? And so you kinda, like, maybe make fun of it or you put it down
Mhm.
to really justify your disdain for a thing. And I really don't have any disdain for for people having daggone children they wanna have. Like, you can have as many children as your body can push out. That's your business. It's between you and God.
Yes.
But for me in my house, like, 3 was enough, like, 2 was, good enough. But this lady had 19
She had
children, and
19,
on
and
right, yeah,
okay, this is a multi-part question. So, yes, there were more
mhm,
than just the 2. There were
mercy,
It was a whole thing about the police released the sealed records of who he touched,
mhm.
because eventually they did
Oh,
go to the
wow,
police, but the police didn't do anything.
mhm.
So it was supposedly 4 of his sisters.
And how many so now I'm like, how many girls, how many boys? Did he touch any boys? Did
He
he
did
tou
not
like
touch any boys. That never came out. Um, there are that family is 10 and 9, right?
yeah, that's 19.
No, 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 I'm trying to think of which family I'm thinking of who has
Oh, okay.
this is how knee deep it is, but yes, I think that family has more girls than boys. Yes, but no, he didn't.
Mm,
And then, what was really sad was 2 of the older girls that were harmed went on
mhm,
Fox News and were basically pressured into defending him and being like, "Well, the police was wrong and we shouldn't." be here talking about this because they shouldn't have released it, but we love our brother, and watching
Mm,
Shiny Happy People, that sister was like, "I wish I never did that. I didn't know the whole story. I was really pressured into
mm,
this, I was younger," all these things, and it's it goes to the heart of, like, again, you're trying to keep this show afloat, you're trying to keep money, you would sacrifice your daughters over this pedophile of a son for money, for power,
mhm.
for controlling your daughters.
Was it just one boy? Like, was only one who did
Yeah, because
the
the
dastardly
other
deeds?
boys, like, when they basically, like, made a spinoff of the show at that point. They
Mhm,
took the show off the air for a little while, and they made a spinoff of the show with those 2 sisters to say that they were, like, moving on with their life, and they
mhm.
basically turned that show into talking about the older children. And so the
Oh.
older boys were, like, on there crying and upset and like, "I don't look up to my brother anymore," and all that, but it
Mhm,
to
mhm,
me, at the heart of all of it, though, is you have these churches, you have this purity culture, you have this, prosperity culture, and all it is, like, controlling women and
mhm,
trying to get
mhm,
more power, but it's taken further when you give them these TV shows and say, "Look, this is kind of weird, but they're just
mhm,
a normal family," and
mhm,
it's like, "N what
mhm.
is normal?"
Right, what is normal? And speaking of that, like, I saw this post on Instagram
Mhm.
today, and I reposted it, as a story, and it says, "In dysfunctional families, telling truth is betrayal, and helping" I'm sorry, and okay, so let me read it again. "In dysfunctional families, telling the truth is betrayal, and keeping secrets is loyalty."
Yes.
And it's so deep that that's the case because that's what we've been taught, that's what we've been programmed to
Yes.
do, and it sounds like these TV stations, in that sense, is like, "Don't say
Yeah.
nothing," just kinda keep it to yourself, and even the family, like, "You'll destroy the family," and that happens in so many families,
Yeah.
like these pedophiles for uncles
Mhm.
and sometimes aunties, let me just go ahead and
Yeah.
say, but these people are in the family, get to come to dinner, and the traumatized still have to keep being
Yeah.
re-traumatized by these people who are not brought to justice. Nothing
Mhm.
happens, and I'm not gonna say for all, because it's not all, of course. Some actually do, prosecute, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
they don't mind blowing up the family for the sake of saving, these innocent people,
Right,
right?
right, and I will say that that sister said on the documentary that when he was finally brought to trial for that other case, when they were trying to build the case of, like, he has disturbing behavior from before, she was like she raised her hand
Mm,
and was willing to testify against her own brother, but they
mhm,
didn't call her, they had, like, other witnesses, so it was good that she wasn't
mhm,
traumatized, but it was also like, "Yeah, you gotta be willing to blow up the family," and I mean, look at even Donald Trump. It's
mhm,
Monday, June 12th right now. Tomorrow, June 13th, he's gonna be arraigned on 37 counts of, again, somebody not holding him accountable, and now here we are. Like,
mm,
you have to nip all this in the bud once you see it, whatever the
right.
bad behavior is, good,
See, and
bad, or
see,
other.
it's such a, contradiction of terms, double standards, all of this when I think about, Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby did his deed. He went to
Mhm,
jail, and now people still trying to, um, not bring him up on charges, but civil suits when something happened in 1969. And again, I understand the statutes of limitations can be, not lifted in these particular situations. Am I saying that
mhm,
right? Lifted, not lifted?
mhm,
Okay. But if they're gonna do that to him,
mhm. Hold everybody the same accountable.
come on, y'all. Come on. Like,
'Cause
really? Like
that's fucked
this is
up,
some BS.
Trump's fucked up, like and it makes me annoyed that that could be a criminal case with him, but Trump's was just a civil case when it was with E. Jean Carroll. That's come on now. That was a apples for apples situation. Both of them mistreated women sexually. It was horrible, both of them. Why is one got kid gloves on and the other is like the long arm of justice has to come down on top of their head the hardest it could possibly come? Like,
And we know what it
I know we
is.
know what it
So,
is,
right, we know what it is. And
but yeah,
so this world is, and even us speaking about this while we're saying it, we are a little frustrated and it's unfair, but this world is
yeah,
unfair. And my question is, as we're speaking out and we're hopefully, I don't know if they're gonna hold Trump, to the letter of the law. I don't know, but we can hope for
yeah.
that, right? But at the end of the day, is anything really gonna
I
change,
don't think
Sylvia?
so because look, I watched another documentary. I watched the Hillsong Church documentary. Well, the second one because I
Mhm,
watched the first one a long time ago, and then this one came out recently. That's
mhm.
another mega church that was in Australia and New Zealand, and then they spread around the world because they had these charismatic preachers who, again, were doing their dirt. And
Mhm.
again, there are allegations of pedophilia from far back, but what did they do? They
Mhm.
just moved people around, changed things around, and then the church exploded. And now you have their head of the church going and praying for Trump when he's in office. Because again, it's the same kind of people. To me, it's always going to be the same type of people. You have to be a specific kind of person to say, I have a better connection to God. You have to talk through me. I can teach you the ways, as if the Bible isn't available to be read by everybody, or as if you can't close your eyes and talk to your higher power. It's so,
Mhm.
or you have to give
Or if
me
you can't
money
be
in order for you to make money.
right, right. Or if you can't be taught, like, because you can be taught. It's just like me saying, "Listen, I am the only therapist that can,
Right.
help you in this space. Like, you can only come to me because you can't fix yourself. You can't work through your issues." Come on.
It's the same kind of people to me. It's the same kind of people. They are power hungry, they are money hungry, and I often wanna know, like, when is enough enough? Because it
Yeah,
has
and
to stop. It has to stop.
yeah, yeah.
It's all the same kind of I mean, even okay, I watched the 3rd one. Do you remember Jared, the Subway guy?
No, I don't know any of these people,
Oh
Sylvia. I'm just
my
gonna be honest with
god.
you. I don't know
Okay,
none of these
so
people.
there was a guy, he was in college, and he was, like, really heavy set, and all he did was eat Subway, and he lost, like, hundreds
Oh.
of pounds, and it was, like, this big story for, like, 15 years.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I
Okay,
did hear about
Jared.
that. I just didn't, yeah,
Okay,
I did hear about him.
he came out as being a pedophile.
Well, oh, yeah.
Like,
When you say the Subway guy, I thought you were talking about on the Subway,
oh, no, no,
not
no,
the
no, the
food
food.
Subway.
But,
Yes, I definitely
I
heard
mean,
about
even
him.
him,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Come on, like, what is
Mhm.
happening in this world that this is."
Yeah.
I know that it's always been a thing, but seeing it all
Mhm.
compounded on top of each other,
Mhm.
and then seeing that,
Mhm.
like, all these people have similar characteristics. It's
Which are?
scary, though.
What are these characteristics that you
This
notice?
power hungry, this I'm domineering, or the only one that can do these things, and it just they all look and feel icky the same way to me.
Yeah, and I will tell you another thing that I noticed
Mhm.
too. If you do not correct someone are not doing when they're harming, Imma say that.
Mhm.
Because again, right and wrong can be relative in some ways. But if you're harming and you don't correct that harm, what you're doing is you're spreading that
Yeah.
and you're saying that it's okay, and then they double down and they go for broke. They start doing the
Yeah.
most because you talking about power, it's like, "I am entitled. I can do this.
Mhm.
You can't catch me," or "I'm above the law."
Right. Yeah. It's I don't know. I don't like it. And, I'm already like, ugh, on church and religion. And so seeing these same examples continue to repeat themselves, I'm like, oh, y'all, just find a closet and go and talk to your higher power. That seems like a better idea.
Mm,
Don't I'm not against like congregating, I'm not against people building community, I'm just against, like, whatever this is that people have going because it's just harming
Harm
people.
is harming, and it comes from a really Imma tell you, it comes from a self-loathing,
Yeah.
but you don't see that because it's layered and layered,
Yes.
and from that self-loathing, you start to look at things as though, um, you wanna take care of yourself in a way, and you use people as objects, because, again, if you don't see the value in yourself, you're not gonna see the value in other people,
Mhm.
and that is the unfortunate part of this whole
Yeah.
thing. And really, I'm going to say to these people, about these people who really harm, is listen, you matter, because if you start there and you start to forgive yourself, then you can stop.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly judging you and you don't think that you're about anything, because that's what I hear sometimes when people say, I ain't shit. Like, it baffles me when someone comes out their own mouth to say about
Mhm.
themselves that they're not anything,
Yeah.
that they self-deprecate. And so when you do that and you hide behind that, and then you actually go in and you treat other people the way you treat yourself,
Mhm.
that's how all of these things spiral.
Yeah.
Because there's an origin story to everything.
It's also terrifying to see the people that prop those people up. That at the heart of
Well,
it to me is why I'm saying it was so egregious. Like,
yeah. Well, because they're complicit too, Sylvia, and they feel the same.
yeah.
Birds of a feather flock
Yeah.
together. And when you're aligned, you're gonna cover up. If you're in denial, or if you feel like, wow, like even some of these parents who don't go and tell the truth,
Mhm.
and they cover up because they're ashamed because they knew what was happening and they didn't speak to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just
And so the embarrassment of it all is like, you don't want to look bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then not wanting to look bad, it's like, really? Shit look bad. That's why I was saying, even today, as a juror, a potential juror, I spoke out. I was vulnerable.
Mhm.
I did some self-disclosure because, one, I don't give a fuck what none of y'all think about me. Number one, I could give a
That
damn.
part.
Might not ever see y'all asses
Right.
again. I have to live with myself. And I'm telling my own truth. To thine own self be true.
Mhm.
And so that's why I'm even here with you on these airways. I don't have to do this.
Right.
You don't have to do
No.
this. We want to spread love. We want to help us all be better. Let's tell the daggone truth.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and cover up my son when I know he might be wrong or something.
Mhm.
Like, no, dude, you
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
You know? Hell
It's
no.
I pray that people don't get put in those situations, but I also pray that they have the strength to, like, take those people down because it's 2023. We can't have those people walking among us anymore or trying to lead us anymore.
Child.
That is horrifying, but
I had to do a whole deep breath.
yeah,
Had to take it in, let it out. Like, yes, that's my hope. My hope is that is, based on what you're saying. But the truth is, these evil people, unless there's some major change, these people are going to keep doing the same
yeah,
old thing. It's just going to be another face
yeah,
and the same
and
behavior.
it's the hypocrisy in all of it of these people are doing these horrifying things to their own family, to their own children, to other people's children, and then in the same breath are pro-life. In the same breath
Hmm.
are pro-birth. And the
Or presidents.
so it's
Mm,
just yeah, everything you do will come back around.
yeah. So just wait, see, sir,
Ooh.
sirs, sirzettes. What you do is gonna come back. So I mean, even if it doesn't happen in this lifetime, right? It's gonna happen
Yeah,
because that's the law,
yeah,
right? So there are laws that govern us. Maybe not so much the laws of these lands, but the universal law
yeah,
coming for you.
yeah. Right. Well, what do you think about all of this? Tell us in the comments. What do you think about having jury duty? Do you think it's worth it? I mean, that $25, ugh. Have you heard of the Duggar family before today?
I thought she was. I thought she was talking about the Dougie. So okay.
Or
Okay.
any of the other
Okay.
big name families that have gotten on TV shows because of their strange large family, but have turned out not to be who we thought they were. Um, Tell us what you think about this
Mhm.
whole Trump situation. This is just a saga that is not stopping, and now we're about to enter into another election cycle. Yikes.
Mhm.
We wanna
Yeah.
hear from you.
Yeah.
Drop all that in the comments, and if you have not already, like, share, subscribe. Do something with this show, but do not keep it for yourself. Alright, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson, and you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagon Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you. To be a guest on the show, send us an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. Or you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.